Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Ingram Jones, and I have with me a dear friend and a man doing some great things in the community, Daley Ojuderie. Daley, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
Daley, for those people who don't know who you are, just give a quick overview as to who you are.
I'm a former boxer, professional boxer, amateur national champion, former undefeated professional boxer. My boxing career cut short because of injury in certain circumstances. Went on a reality TV show, but that is kind of bad.
So we don't too much about that. Great. For those people who want to know a little bit more about what Daley did previously, check out the interview I did before with him on Bayloric TV, The Daley Effect. So that was done in 2014. We're now in 2016. I'm just kind of dropping in to see what's been going on with The Daley Effect. And for those people who don't know what the Daley Effect is all about, give us an overview of what The Daley Effect is.
Basically, it's a fitness and boxing company where I focus on giving the best fitness and nutrition and boxing programs, unique to and tailored to everyone's needs. My focus is more on the boxing side, and that's it. Yeah.
So talk to us about what inspired you to start the Daley Effect.
What inspired me in the first place is that I grew up originally. It was for kids growing up in a similar situation that I used to grow up in when I was younger, which is foster homes, and challenging all their anger and frustration into something positive. I still do that. That's a long-term goal of mine because I still do that alongside what I do. But in the fitness and in boxing is a way for kids like myself to get into shape, box, not be violent anywhere else, and channel their frustration and anger into something positive.
So let's talk about where you're based. Where are you based, actually?
I'm based in West London, All Stars Boxing, at Titan Fighter Gym in North London as well, near Enfield, Tottenham Ways, and West London, which is near Notting Hill Ways. And yeah, that's my base. That's where I run my businesses. And also I've got connections in America, California. So I like to go back and forward to there.
I know we've spoken before about your connections in the States, but just for those people who don't know, tell us a bit more about your connection in the States and how you have a lot of, you pay a lot of homage to your trainer over in the States and the connections and how it's helped you become the coach that you are today.
Yeah, well, basically, when I was trying to get my pro career back on track, a coach called Coach Perales, Charles Perales, invited me over to California to train. And I was sparring people like the middleweights, what are ranked 9, top 10 in the world, holding my own, doing very good with all the fighters that I was sparring. I had people out there wanting to sign me and asking, who's this guy from London? And it was just an amazing experience. But my old rib injury came back, and that's when I decided to put all my focus, my passion into personal training and being the best boxing coach I can be. But Coach Charles Perales, he's the one that showed faith. To me, he's one of the best coaches in the game. Instagram, Team Trouble #1. Not the word number, just #1. And he's been like a mentor to me, and he's like family to me. Him and his dad, Jonathan Perales. He was like a dad to me while I was out there, and Coach Charles Perales is like a brother to me. And the way he teaches is similar to the way I teach, and a lot of things I teach is because of him. And we share the same vision and philosophy. So that's what I like about Charles Perales down there in California at Hollister Boxing.
So tell me the difference between UK boxing and the US boxing, and how it kind of, you seem to favor the US way of boxing.
The thing is, right, what I've seen with the difference between American and UK boxing is not that we haven't got good fighters, because obviously we've got good fighters. We've got a lot of current world champions, but it's the beginning of the journey, like starting from like 8, 9, 10, even teenagers. It's just, in America, it's a different level of training. The way they teach, the philosophy behind it, even down to footwork movement, footwork drills, head movement, precision, timing, feints, the dedication, the running, everything. We've got 8-year-olds there what are training like. And over here, I mean, over in America, you can tell an 8-year-old kid to punch. I've seen it with my own eyes. You can tell a kid to punch bag non-stop for 5 minutes and he will do it without no break. But if you tell a kid over here to do that, it's more like a chore. So yeah, what I like to see in a fighter, me being a boxing coach, everything else I can teach, but it's the other side of boxing you can't teach. I like to see the hunger. If you've got the hunger and the desire to want to do boxing, that's when I'm interested, because the rest I can teach. I can teach all that. You've got to show the hunger and desire. I think the kids in the UK have got it, they're too soft, they've got it too good here. Whereas in America, you've got a lot of kids, homeless or, not a good way of life, Mexican Americans, and they're just hungry, tough.
That's good to know. I mean, what do you think have been the key factors for you in terms of what you've taken from the States and brought back to the UK and using now? What do you think are the key fundamentals for you to bring out the best in a fighter?
The fundamentals, good work ethic. It's like the coach in America, Coach Charles Perales. It's like he said, hard work over everything. You've got to show that dedication. That's the fundamental things of boxing to me, is having the hunger and the desire to want to be the best, to want to get out when everyone's asleep and when it's cold outside and run. As I said, everything else you can teach. When I was over in America, I stayed there for a long time, and it's like a different level. And that's what I'm trying to give as a coach in the UK. I'm trying to show these kids, like, look, this is how it should be done. I'm not trying to knock any coach. Every coach is different. I'm just saying my philosophy is I'm teaching the art of boxing. You've got to cover every angle. So when they got themselves in a situation, in a fight, they know how to overcome that situation. So it's not down just to the pad work. It's not down to just sparring. It's the other things behind that. And me as a coach, it's my job to care about that fighter, to want them to do well, to be the best coach I can be for them, show them the ropes, show them that boxing isn't just boxing in the gym, outside the gym. You've got to conduct yourself as if you were to be as if you're going to be a champion, or you're already a champion. You've got to study the game. When you're at home, I'm not saying you can't be a kid, but the other side of you've got to be studying as well. Put on some boxing, study the greats, study the art. It's your duty as a fighter to make yourself better. You know, a coach can only do so much, and the rest is down to you. Like a coach can't force you to get up when it's freezing cold in the morning and go and run. That's down to the fighter, and if you haven't got that hunger, then you shouldn't be a fighter.
James Ojuderie has been featured often on our Boxing Channel. Talks about two things. Firstly, he talks about the lack of mentors in the sport of boxing, and there's a lot of pad men, a lot of coaches, but not enough mentors. What are your thoughts about that, first and foremost?
That's a good, fair statement. There is, because there's a lot of coaches what just hold up the pads, tell them to throw 20 punches and think that's boxing, or tell them to throw a left and a right cross, and that's boxing. Boxing is an art. It's philosophy behind everything you're doing. To me, boxing, I could put the pads to the side and just talk to my fighter, show my fighter what I want and what I expect. You know, giving them the knowledge, talking to them about nutrition, discipline, why this punch does this, and why you should do this and why you should do that. Yeah, boxing's an art, and yeah, that's a good statement there, because there isn't a lot of mentors. And mentors, your fighter will go through sweat, blood, and tears for you if you show them that you're the kind of coach what is there for them mentally, and you're like a shoulder to cry on. And there's a line in boxing as well. You've got to be the right type of coach. I think there's a time when you can be strict, and there's other times when you're not strict. There's times where you can shout at them and make them feel like they're doing something wrong, but then there's other times you make them feel $1 million, and you've got to find the right balance. That's what makes a good coach.
The second thing James Ojuderie talks about is aerobic pad work, where guys are throwing nice, pretty punches on the pads, not following through with their punches and learning proper technique, and those things not being effective in the ring, which we're seeing a lot more of the showboating sort of pad work now. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, to me, so are you talking about like Mayweather type?
Yes,
style of
aerobic, yeah, aerobic pad work, he called it.
Okay, well, aerobic, that's a good thing because you're getting fit. But again, there's a philosophy behind that kind of pad work. Any coach, what is doing that kind of pad work just to look good, and then they're not a real coach. Just to look flashy or to look good for the cameras, then they're not a real coach. Probably most personal trainers that do that pad work, they're doing it just for that reason. Boxing coach, what knows how to do pad work properly, there's a philosophy behind it. Now, I know there'll probably be loads of people what are hating on my own style of pad work, but it's not just the flashy stuff I do. I do the basics. I break things down. I do the simple things. I do the hard things. I do the combinations. I do reflexes, drills. I do power punching drills, speed drills, and that kind of Mayweather style kind of pad work is not for everyone. That's what I say as well. That's why another reason why, you know, when you're a good coach is when you can adapt to different fighters. So if a fighter comes to me and wants them to train them, as long as they've got the discipline and the hunger and the desire to want to be a champion or want to do well for themselves, and then of course I'm going to train them. I mean, I'm going to do Mayweather style kind of pad work to a fighter that I don't think is born to fight like that. Now, to me, you have to be a fighter that is natural, has got the natural reflexes, has got the natural ability to fight like that. And then I happily do that kind of pad work. But then you've got the other type of fighter who is not good. He's not a reflex fighter, Mayweather. Maybe he's just a brawler. So then you've got to make him into an intelligent brawler. Maybe he's just a simple stand-up boxer. Then it's your job as a coach to make him an intelligent, world-class stand-up boxer. So that pad work, there is nothing wrong with that pad work. You know, you're not gonna, if I'm getting 6 different combinations and gelling them all together, and then it lasts about 10 minutes. And as you say, aerobic pad work, there's nothing wrong with that. You're not going to go into a fight, lay on the ropes and do about 10 combinations all at one time, but I guarantee it will come out in stages because you're creating muscle memory. And that's a perfect example is Mayweather. He can do that all with his eyes closed because he's creating muscle memories. He knows them drills. That's years and years of knowing them drills, understanding with him and his trainer, understanding them drills and combinations. He's not going to do all them combinations all in one go. But I guarantee you'll see Mayweather, maybe it'll be laying on the ropes. Fighter will throw a shot, he'll catch it on his shoulders and come back with a counter left hook. And that's them shots and the shoulder roll, they're in his combinations, but he's doing it in stages, and that's what I call muscle memory. So there's no wrong way to do pads. I just reckon a good coach will adapt to different fighters. Pad work the same to every fighter.
I remember you talking about, we spoke before about the pad work thing, and we discussed about how you broke down a pad work for a day. And you could say, well, one day we might do all that flashy stuff for aerobics, but another day we would do, work on power shots.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. If a good coach will have a plan or in advance for every day for his fighter when it comes to training for a fight. He will have a plan. You don't just go in there and just do whatever. There'll be a plan. Like today, we're going hill sprints together. The next day, I come in, I go, right, not even going to punch today. We're going to work on your footwork and your timing and your move. Day you might be doing power shots. The next day you might be doing combination work where you're taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different combinations and putting it all together. And work on his reflexes and timing and speed and hand and eye coordination, creating muscle memory, and that's a sign of a good coach.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about. Now, so you've got fighters that you're working with. I know you do boxing, but I know talk about you doing MMA as well. Talk to me a little bit about that as well. Working with the MMA fighters.
Yeah, well, this lovely husband and wife will own Titan Fighter Gym. It's one of the best MMA gyms in England. They saw my work and decided to hire me as a boxing coach to teach their MMA fighters the boxing side of things. And it's given me a lot of respect with what they do. I was someone who's like, MMA, but it's very, very technical. And one thing I like about them, they train hard. They train like animals. And as I said, that's one thing I like to see in fighters. Even if you're just a get fit person and you're hiring me as a personal trainer, and then if you're hiring me, then show me the dedication that you want to be fit and healthy and reach your goals. That's what I like to see in people.
Okay, well, in terms of your training, your boxing training, are you an amateur coach? Are you a pro coach? How is it with you?
Yeah. Pro coach, and I was gonna do the amateur side of things where I'd be an amateur coach, but I help amateurs. I've got a couple that are on the verge of turning pro. One of them I work with. He's very talented. You can see him on my social media. Very talented. He's going to be turning pro in about a year's time. So watch out for him. He's a dangerous fighter. But yeah, the pro game is what I'm all about. I've got a lot to offer to the game. Obviously there's fighters. 9 times out of 10 they're going to go for the more established fighters, like the Gallaghers, Shane McGuigan's, the ones who are already out there at the moment. But, you have to start somewhere, and I've been working so hard for the last year to get where I am now. Remember, I've got like 17, 18 years of boxing knowledge, and all I need is that one fighter. I've got a couple. It'd be nice to get some established ones and show them that I'm just as good, if not better, than a lot of them trainers out there.
Okay, for those who don't know, you were part of Don Charles's gym at one point.
Yeah, good old Don Charles.
Were you surprised that Derek Chisora left Don Charles?
Very surprised, because to me, no disrespect to Gary Ennis, CJ Hussein, I think Don Charles is a better coach. And now if Derek was leaving because for the reasons he's been with him a long time and he just needs to change, then that's fine. But just leave and go with someone better than Don Charles. I just think, you know, the level's not really changed, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
If I would, because I like Derek and I would like to see him with the right kind of team. If it's not Don Charles, then have a really good team behind him. And I don't think that was the right team. I'm not sure. I think he's left them now. You know that.
Really?
Don't quote me on it, but do your investigation. I've heard Gary Ennis and CJ Hussein, and probably thinking of making a comeback with Don Charles.
Wow, that'd be something. That'd be something. That's some good news there. Okay, let's talk about some upcoming fights and really the catchweight division. Let's talk about catchweights. What are your thoughts on catchweights? Amir Khan versus Canelo, Brook versus Gennady Golovkin.
Well, I don't mind catchweight. It's just if it's done in the right way. You know, if you're someone like Kell Brook fighting Golovkin, that's fine because Kell Brook is a big welterweight. But if you're talking about Amir Khan against Canelo, then that's a bit too far. You know, they took it too far with that one because visually, you just knew who was going to win that fight. With Kell Brook and Golovkin, they're similar in size. So, I mean, it just depends. Depends on your. I don't think catchweight is fine as long as it's done right.
Okay. And weigh-ins, should they be on the same day or should they be 24 hours?
Pardon?
Should weigh-ins be done on the same day or should they be done within 24 hours? In terms of fighters blowing up in weight and everything.
Weigh-ins? Yeah. That in itself, again, that should be done in the right way as well, because I've got experience with that, and I know you can blow up really fast if you've got the right body. If you've got the right type of body type, and then you will blow up really fast without even eating too much. I remember when Kell Brook last fight. After just a week, see him on Box Nation, and he's blown up real quick. And I think it's because he's got that type of body where he can blow up naturally like that. But I think if you're not naturally like that, for you to go stuff your face and fill your and just loads and loads and loads of fluids to bulk yourself up for the fight the next day, I don't think that's a good thing. To me, I reckon you should stay not far away from your weighing weight. Definitely not 10 pounds. I'll say 6 pounds is good enough, because I like to keep the sharpness in the fight. And, you know, blowing up too fast like that, it might have an effect. That's just my opinion.
Amir Khan, the boxer, now wants to go into MMA. Started MMA and he's calling out Conor McGregor within a year's time. Your thoughts?
All I can say is that's the biggest joke I've heard all day, actually, to tell you the truth. As I said, I've been hired by MMA I've been hired by MMA gym to teach them boxing, and I see what they do, and I've got a lot of respect for them now. And now, if you're saying Conor McGregor versus Amir Khan in a boxing fight, then fine. But if I was his management, I'll be telling him, stay away, son. Just retire from the sport of boxing, and don't go into MMA because you're crazy. Because if he gets taken down to the ground, then there's no way out for him.
How can you see it ending for Amir Khan? World champion MMA or getting seriously hurt?
Seriously hurt. Do you remember when James Toney went and done an MMA fight?
Yeah, I do.
Taken down almost instantly and tapped out. So, and James Toney is a big guy. Anyway, it's not about big or small, really. It's just about.
And technically very good.
Not trained to be an MMA fighter. That takes years and years of training to step into that cage. I've got a lot of respect for them now after working alongside MMA fighters. So I will not advise Amir Khan to do that. I tell him to stay in your lane, son.
So, okay, to wrap this up, Daley, how do people contact you?
How will they contact me?
Yeah.
Well, you've got my Instagram page, which is @TDEFitness. Then you've got my Facebook business page, which is @TDEFitness, or you can type in the Daley Effect Fitness. Or you've got my website where you can contact me through my email or my number. If any fighters or anyone wanting personal training sessions or sports performance coaching. And that's www.thedaleyeffectfitness.com.
Daley Ojuderie, my brother, thank you so much for talking to Bayloric TV.
Thanks a lot, mate. Really appreciate it.
Take care, champ. All the best.
Take care.
Jack, we got.